Hello and welcome to my channel Inspiring Life Changes. My name is Colette and this is a reading today for all Leos, Sun, Moon, Venus and Rising. It's a general read, so it's not going to resonate with all Leos out there, but hopefully it will resonate with some of you Leos out there. I will be putting a link for a free natal chart in the description box down below. So if you don't know what your Moon, Rising and Venus is, you can go and have a look, and if this reading doesn't resonate with you, you could maybe check out the other readings for the signs and placements that they are in. Okay, so Leos, I'm going to start this reading off with some astrology, and the reason is because there's a lot going on astrologically at the moment. It's been an intense week, in fact probably a tense over a week now, but it all started off really with the conjunction of Mercury. Well, it probably started off, no, it was the conjunction of Mercury and the Sun, which took place on the 11th. I was thinking of the full moon in Taurus, but that didn't take place until the 12th, which was the following day. I actually did put a video out there called the 1111 portal, Sun conjunct Mercury, retrograde in Scorpio and full moon in Taurus video. If you're interested in getting any more information or insights, you could possibly go and check that video out. It's on my channel, easy to find. So the Scorpio retrograde, Mercury retrograde stuff is all taking place for you Leos in your house of Cancer, which is very much to do with home, security, protection, childhood, past issues, and it's all the Scorpio stuff of birth, death, rebirth, secrets, hidden things, deep wounds. It can be to do with poisons, and even sometimes deep wounds can become poisons if they're allowed to, like emotional issues are allowed to fester. They can affect our lives and affect our relationships, so they themselves can be seen as a kind of poison. So while this was taking place at the same time, while Mercury's going retrograde, you had, and actually, to be honest, Mercury is no longer retrograde, and I apologise because I did intend to get all the readings done while Mercury was retrograde, but Mercury actually went direct, yesterday, and so I kind of missed out on the last three of the readings for the signs, last three of you. So it is actually direct now, and I will just say for some people, if you have your Mercury retrograde, you may have found that this Mercury retrograde has been a breeze. It's been really quite, you may be thinking, well, that wasn't that difficult, that hasn't been that hard. But you may find, like myself, I find Mercury retrograde quite easy, quite plain sailing. It's when Mercury turns direct and starts moving back across its own shadow, and it's the shadow of where it's already been and gone back over and retrograded again, and it will be coming back across, and it won't come out of its own shadow until December the 10th. So there is still some time left between now and the 10th of December that you may find that these feelings are going to become even more intense for you. And you can find out whether your Mercury is retrograde by looking at your free natal link that I will be putting in the direct description box below, as I said earlier, and you can go and check out and see where your Mercury is, and also whether it's retrograde or where it was, because Mercury goes retrograde 3 times a year, so there are quite strong chances that it might be. So okay, so all that is taking place in your 4th house of the home, security, protection, as I was saying. But the full moon, which took place on the 12th, and the energy of the full moon doesn't finish until the new moon happens, which will be happening, I believe it's on the 26th of this month. So we are still in full moon energy. That's still resonating out there with us. And the full moon in Taurus has been opposite the Scorpio in the Mercury, sorry, in Scorpio, because Taurus and Scorpio are opposite signs. So the full moon that took place is kind of been highlighting that issue as well, of all the kind of scorpionic stuff, of the deeper underrealm, underworld, the Plutonian type of darker hidden realm of the unknown, the unconscious, the unaware, the things that we keep hidden from ourselves, even the things that we don't necessarily want to acknowledge to ourselves, let alone acknowledge to anybody else as well. And so the full moon took place in the 10th house for you Leos, and that is very significant for you Leos, because you have in the 10th house, or we all have in the 10th house at the moment, in Capricorn, Saturn and Pluto and the South Node, which is all about karmic issues. Pluto is the big destroyer, Saturn is the karmic teacher, and the South Node is also about our karma. It's where we're coming from. It's what we're trying to leave behind as we move forward. And it has been particularly intense because Capricorn is opposite Cancer as well. So you will have had not only the South Node, but you also have the North Node in Cancer, which is where for you all this kind of scorpionic stuff is taking place. So you're actually wanting to move towards the Cancerian stuff, but at the moment it's all kind of being cleared out and dealt with, and it's all a bit mucky and murky, and it's also because it's Mercury, it's all about our mind, it's about our thinking, it's about our thoughts, it's about how we process things, how we think things through, and our thoughts of course create our emotions as well. So there's a strong link here between our thoughts and our emotions in Scorpio, and we need to kind of be careful that we don't allow the scorpionic kind of fears to override us and to stop us from being able to kind of move forward and get to that place of home and security, which for you at the moment, Leos, I think is very pronounced, shall we say. So there is also, with the full moon at the moment in the second house of Taurus, which is all about the physical realm, it's all about our value system, it's about our financial system, it's about how we take care of ourselves, our self-worth, our environment. That can be the kind of the home environment, the bigger environment, the world itself. It's all about how we ourselves connect with those energies, with those physical, very kind of tangible energies, not just energies, but tangible, physical, the physical realm, how we connect with it. And at the moment there is Uranus in the second house as well. And for you, the second house is all about Virgo. So the ruler of the second house for yourself is Virgo, which again is Mercury. Mercury is the ruler of Virgo. So this is taking place for you in the second house. And it could also be bringing up issues of work and maybe sudden changes with work as well, because Uranus is the kind of sudden unexpected change that comes out the blue, the things that we can't kind of plan for, or we don't see it coming, it just kind of happens, and somehow we have to kind of try and make sense of it and get it to work for us. And in the house of Virgo, it is all about the analytical mind, it's the logical, it's the thinking, it's the how you do things on a day-to-day basis. And of course Mercury at the moment in Scorpio is all kind of immersed in this deeper realm of Pluto, letting go, rebirthing. So you may be finding at the moment that you've got these kind of issues coming up to do with family as well as work. But family, I think in particular, because of the fourth house, because it's actually all taking place within the fourth house. But there could also be just kind of problems within the family. Scorpio brings up fears as well, so there could be fears of your family situation, or your self-worth within the family situation. Being Leo, it's all, you know, you're very much about courage and your self-identity and the fieriness and the passion and kind of what drives you. So all of that could be being questioned at the moment as well, because Mercury is kind of being a bit of a detective at the moment in the underrealm, digging up that stuff that is kind of making us all feel a little bit like on edge, shall we say, to say the least. Okay, so I'm going to finish the astrology there, Leo, and I'm going to go into the actual reading itself. And the first card that I'm going to pull for you, or I have already pulled for you, is from the Namaste Blessing cards by Tony Carmine Salerno. And I like to start the readings off with a blessing card. And this is the card that I got. And for me, this kind of star at the centre is saying that there is kind of, you are the star at the centre at the moment, in the sense of like you are starring in your own role, in your own life. You are the main player on the stage, which I think is a very kind of Leo type of thing anyway. Leos do like to be in the limelight. But there is also transformation taking place here, because you have these butterflies. Tiny little butterfly here, you can see that is actually a butterfly, and it's very kind of small and probably quite indistinct, but it is actually a butterfly. And these kind of pinks and like rosy pinks that I can see like down here, in some way kind of reminds me of a kind of subdued fieriness as well at the moment, that everything's maybe a bit subdued for you at this moment in time. But this card is called the Blessing of Creativity. And it says, express yourself creatively and reconnect with your inner child. As ideas and inspirations surface, express them without thought, censorship, or judgment. Don't try to make sense of things. Just allow, just feel, just be. This is a time where all is possible. You are limited only by what you think is impossible. So that's the card there. You might want to turn it over and let you screenshot it if you want to, so you can go back and have a look at it, and maybe it will make some sense at some point if it's not making sense now. So the rest of the reading is done with the Juliet Sherman Burke and Liz Green Mythic Tarot, or Greek Mythic Tarot as I like to call it, because it's all about Greek stories. And this Page of Cups is at the heart of your reading, Leo. And for me, it's all about, as it was saying, like you being the star of your show. Because here he is, this young, innocent, childlike energy that is staring into this cup here. And he's reflecting very much on himself. It's all about the reflection of himself at this moment in time. And because it's a page, it is a young energy. It's an energy that hasn't matured. And I would say, because of what's going on with yourselves in the Scorpio realm of fourth house, that this is all about the inner child. The inner child that is looking for or needing love that maybe it didn't get, or felt that it hasn't had from when it was a child, from childhood. That this is childhood related to childhood issues, and looking at itself in that cup. So the card that comes out above that, what's in your head, Leo, and what you're aware of, is the Hermit. And the Hermit for me it's kind of like a chrysalis stage of a butterfly. That's how I like to see it, or a moth, whichever, a pupae, whichever you prefer. But it's kind of saying you need to light your own way here. And he has the scythe here. in order to be able to cut through what he no longer needs, kind of the old, the dead, the unwanted things, which I think relates particularly to this card at this moment in time, the kind of looking back and reflecting over situations that have taken place in the past. And these two cards for me always kind of represent a kind of security or a protection as they kind of lean towards each other. Often I see it as a kind of parental. It doesn't have to be parents, it can be friends, but it can be like this feeling of having had some security. Or maybe feeling there's somebody now in your life as well who you can lean out to or reach out to, who's there to help support you. But that's what the trees always remind me of, as they kind of lean towards each other, that there's support there as well. So going back to the Hermit, you may feel, what I'm getting from this card is also a kind of disconnection as well. You may feel that you are in a time of being disconnected from people, from places, from experiences, of you not kind of like, you know, you're really kind of hiding away here. You're not showing yourself, you're not giving yourself away. But it's not in a, well, I wouldn't say it's not in a secretive way, because it kind of, the Hermit has got this kind of secret sense about it, in the sense that he kind of goes within to transform and change, and that's kind of what's happening in this card here, I feel quite strongly, being a major arcana card as well. It's saying, you know, this is big, this is a big event that's happening here, and I do kind of feel that it's very much connected to this kind of looking into your childhood and reflecting on situations from your childhood, and learning to love yourself again as well with this card. There's a need here to love yourself, to be kind to yourself, considerate to yourself, in order to be able to move forward. But that's not happening yet, because this card here is saying that this is a kind of time of kind of stillness and kind of hiding or keeping yourself away from situations, and learning to find the light within, to light your own path, to keep that light burning. But the reason I say it's disconnected as well is because it's a very kind of barren ground, or environment that he's in. It feels very cold and barren, and there's not a lot going on there. And what's underneath you, Leos, at the moment is your card. And had it come out this way, I would have said that, you know, you were feeling strong within yourself, you knew who you were happy, joyful, bouncing along in life like Leos do, kind of like just taking things as they come and just kind of accepting and, you know, being creative, the visionary, the real kind of that creative energy that's always kind of looking for new outlets and ways of being. But it's not, it's upside down. So to me, what it's saying is that at the moment you're not feeling like yourself. You're not wanting to be in the spotlight at all, which is a kind of, you know, very typical Leo thing, is wanting to be in the spotlight, wanting to be kind of the center of attention, or, you know, and that's even sometimes without even kind of trying. You know, you just have this magnetic, charismatic energy about you, Leos, where people will just kind of, heads will turn. And this does not have to be a female that I'm talking about. This isn't a gender related issue. This is a kind of like energy. It is the energy, the female qualities of kind of passiveness, receptiveness, nurturing, those kind of energies, as opposed to the more masculine outward going. These are much more kind of inner, more yeah, receptive and passive, and acceptive as well. Not just receptive, but accepting, shall we say. So it's more of an acceptance energy. Yeah, so it's upside down. You can literally see, you know, you've got the lioness down the bottom here. You've got these two lions here on her throne. And so it is kind of a real leonine card of creativity and fire and passion and but at the moment I just get this really strong feeling that she's not, or Leos in general are not feeling that way. They are feeling kind of, maybe they are questioning their own identity, their self-identity here. But they're not wanting to be centre of the stage. They're not wanting to be questioned by others. They're questioning themselves, but they don't want to be questioned by others at the moment. There's a feeling that they're what's the word I'm looking for? They're kind of out of alignment. That they kind of feel as though they've lost their fire and their passion and their kind of zest for life almost. But this is the energy that's moving away. This energy here is in the subconscious. This is the subconscious realm. This is kind of the deeper unknown realm in itself. This is the place that it's in. So I'd say that possibly, again, this has got a lot to do with what's happening with Mercury in Scorpio, because that is literally the unknown realm, the subconscious, deeper underworld. But this is the energy that's been around, and the caves for me always represent the inner realm, what goes on within us. And here he's kind of been hiding away, but now there's something that's kind of made him kind of come out of this cage. It's like he's slowly putting his feet forward. There is a creative plan here, a creative idea, something that has sparked some interest. But it's not... I feel on some level that there's this feeling that it's not... that at the moment Leos aren't sure if they can actually fulfill that. Because this is all, again, it's about mastery, which at the moment with the stuff in the 10th house that's happening for you. 10th house being... let's say the 10th house was. 10th house being... sorry, I've got myself... oh, it's Taurus, isn't it, the 10th house? 10th house for you is Taurus, which is where the full moon has just taken place. And of course that's where we've got Pluto and Scorpio. So there is restriction here as well. I think that's what this is also saying, that there is this feeling of restriction, that you're being held back, that you can't quite create what you want to create because you're not feeling fully yourself for a start. You're not quite sure what's going on. But what is happening at the moment, Leos, is that you have got, these two came out together. This one came out first, and this is literally Mercury. This is Hades. Sorry, this is the underworld here, all of this. This is Mercury, Scorpio world with Mercury in Scorpio. To me, this is literally what it represents, this kind of dragging up the past and the ghosts. It's the rising, it's the judgment, it's the calling of the past, of our memories, of our ghosts, of the things that hold us back, of our baggage, of the things that we no longer need in our life, which is kind of where this hermit comes in with this scythe here. It's saying, like, you know, there are things, there are people, there are situations that you need to remove from your life. You need to cut away those memories and those situations that are maybe holding you back and not allowing you to really create what you want to create, because there is this idea, there is something that's come in that's made you want to kind of move out of this stage, if you like. If you think of the hermit, sorry, I'm getting a bit confused here. If you think of the hermit as having been in this cave here, and now he's kind of feeling like he's got to come out, because this is what's moving away. So this stage has been what's been in your head and what you've been aware of, is this hermit type stage of keeping out of the way of people, possibly not giving all your I wouldn't say secrets, it's not about secrets, it's more about your ideas and your thoughts, maybe kind of hiding these things, keeping them close to your chest, kind of wrapping yourself up in this kind of, yeah, I just got this feeling that this like chrysalis stage of waiting for something to rebirth here, waiting for something that's going to be reborn. With this at the heart of your reading as well, this kind of like reflecting on yourself and your own needs and your own nurturing and looking after your own needs and your what it is that you want, which is very kind of full moon in Taurus, if you like, really. Even though it's a water sign, it represents the Pisces, Cancer, and my brain has gone completely blank. Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio itself, in fact. But it's kind of saying that it is all about kind of the hidden depths, the hidden realms, the kind of what you have been learning in here, because you've taken this time to kind of remove yourself from situations that you would normally find yourself in. And these could be things like, you know, going to parties and at work and at home, just day-to-day situations. But there is just this feeling of you no longer feeling as though you're connecting with people in the same way, that there's this kind of just this like feeling of being how can I put it, of being kind of shrouded in mystery almost. There's just like this mystery. It's almost like you're seeing this mystery in life and you're kind of going down into the depths to find out and discover more about it. And the light is kind of helping you light your own way here. It's about finding your inner light. That inner light, which I think is related to this as well, like with this cup kind of in many ways being the same thing. Your inner child who needs to be loved and taken care of, and maybe healed as well. Maybe there's a healing that needs to take place here from this, because I feel that there's a strong connection between these two. And maybe there's something that has kind of triggered this to happen, something that's happened because of this coming up. This is going to be where this is moving in as this card moves away, but this has been triggered, so something is bringing this up to the surface in order for it to heal. And these are emotional situations, these are our ghosts, these are the things that we kind of have hidden away and kept in the underworld and tried to ignore and just get on with our lives as if it wasn't of any consequence. And then we kind of find that all of a sudden it just rises up, particularly when you've got Mercury going retrograde. You could find people coming back from your past as well, and you kind of having to reevaluate and relook at those kind of situations that involved these people and the emotions that it brings up for you. This is where you really want to be, which is kind of out in this kind of garden of sunshine and brightness. But at the moment, you're just feeling that you're not there. You're not there. You're in this place of kind of, I don't want to say darkness as such, because I don't think it is, although it might be. For some Leos out there, this might well be a place of darkness. This might well be a place of feeling that you have lost something, or something is lost. You've lost some innocence, some childhood, something from your childhood that you feel has maybe led you to this. Because everything has kind of, you know, a connection, the past, the present, and what is yet to come is all connected. So these things are coming back from the past. They are rising up from the past. And the big lesson I always think with this card, more than anything else, what I always say to people when they get this card in a tarot reading, is forgiveness. That's really the lesson that's trying to be shown here, is that, you know, you need to forgive yourself, which I think is what this card is saying here as well. Forgiveness. Forgive the situations. Let go of the past. Let go of the part that you think you might have played in it, the part that you believe or think that other people may have played in it. Because this is literally Mercury, like I was saying. This is Hermes. Sorry, in the Greek, he's known as Hermes, which is also Mercury in the Roman, translates to the planet Mercury. So he is the messenger of the gods, and he's there to say, come on, you know, the message here is, it's time to let go. It's time to forgive. It's time to move on. It's time to stop feeling as though you are in a position of weakness rather than strength. That by forgiving yourself and forgiving others who you believe may have taken part in any situation in your life that has caused you to have emotional baggage and has maybe stopped you from really creating the life that you want to create as well, because she is a real visionary. When she's up this way, she is a real visionary. She kind of has that magnetic, like I was saying earlier, kind of that kind of law of attraction type of energy about her. She can pull in what she needs and make things happen in a kind of very dynamic way. But at the same time, it's a passive energy rather than a kind of really out there doing. It's more of a kind of doing it from the heart, a heart energy level, which I think is, again, the Page of Cups at the heart of the reading. It's saying, for me, it's saying that there's a need for healing. There's a real need for healing here, Leos. And another reason that I say that is also because what came out with the Judgment card is the Death card. And the Death card is, again, all about transformation, as is this card. And you've got 3 of the major changing cards in one read here, Leo. This is kind of major, big events, big transformational happenings that can't be ignored, can't be swept under the carpet, can't be just kept to yourself, although you might want to at the moment, and it might even be the best thing at this moment in time, because you are, like I was saying, this is about your life, this is about you being the centre of your own stage at this moment in time, but not in a kind of glaring kind of like, you know, take notice of me, all eyes on me type of way. It's almost the opposite. It's almost like you being at the centre of your own world for yourself, that you have to put your attention on yourself, but not in a, it's not in a selfish way, it's in a kind, caring, considerate, loving way, which isn't the same. But for me, interestingly enough, what I find quite interesting here is these mummies, again with the kind of the hermit here, kind of mummified, sort of wrapped up in a shroud and hidden away and not kind of showing himself here. It's kind of the same energies here with these ghosts, that these literally are the mummies that are rising up out of these coffins down here, and there they are here. It's almost like once something has been released, once something has been allowed to be freed, once something has been allowed to be let go and kind of unwrapped, if you like, unravelled, uncomplicated in some ways as well. There's almost like a simplicity here. It's almost like it's a revealing. It's almost like something is going to be revealed once you get to the bottom of this. Something is going to be revealed. And the death card itself, this really is Pluto. I mean, this is Pluto, who at the moment is in your 10th house of Capricorn, of Taurus as well, because for you the 10th house is Taurus, although for everybody within the natural zodiac cycle, Capricorn is the 10th house. So that's where Pluto and Saturn and South Node are. But for you Leos, it's all taking place within your house of Taurus, which is also where Uranus is as well. So this could also be to do with sudden quick change, transformation, bolts out of the blue, things that you weren't expecting. But Pluto is the big destroyer. It is the transformation. It is kind of saying that, you know, we can't transform, we can't change until we have let go of what we need to let go of. We can't we have to let go of things in order to make space for something new to come in. And this is the energy at the heart of the reading. This is kind of what wants to come in. This is the kind of nurturing, healing, new beginning, if you like, which I think is taking place with this card as well. This new beginning being the Two of Wands rather than anything beyond the Two of Wands. It's kind of very early stages of something. Again, this is early stages as well, because the Page, young energy, young childlike energy. But I don't feel, I mean, it could have something to do with somebody's children as well, but I don't feel that so much as this being just about the self, really, Leos. I get more the feeling that this is about your own inner child that needs to be healed here. And so the Death card in the West, we kind of don't give the death, or we don't give death the same kind of place in our lives as they do more so in other areas of the world, shall we say. You know, we go through many deaths in our lives, but we don't necessarily recognize them as deaths. We go from childhood to adulthood to, you know, going from being single to being in a relationship, and then maybe being married or having a baby, and kind of losing our own identity there as well. You know, because you're no longer responsible for just yourself. You've now got somebody else that you have to think about and care about. So that's another change and another transformation. There's many deaths within our lives, you know, but we don't recognize the transformation. We don't recognize the changes that happen, because life just kind of, you know, takes over, and we're just going from one thing to the next without kind of mourning it. But there can also be, I mean, when women have babies, there is this thing called, you know, the baby blues, and a lot of that could also be to do with the fact that, you know, it's like suddenly you are responsible for this other life, and you no longer are a single person. You can't just get up and go and do what you wanted to do like you used to be able to. And so maybe, you know, it kind of kicks in with the baby blues and this kind of feeling of like, you know, it's a lot of responsibility. But that again is a kind of death and a mourning process, really. And I think that sometimes, you know, because we don't allow ourselves to mourn what we're losing, we kind of create more problems for ourselves. We can find ourselves in deeper kind of depression because of it. But there is something about these two cards together and these three here, like I was saying, that kind of the release here, that something is going to be released. And almost like the naked truth. Something about the naked truth here, that things are going to come to light. With the Hermit here as well. That is going to help with the healing process. That there will be something that comes out of this that is going to be positive, even though it may be very difficult, uncomfortable. And I don't think that this is a death in itself, although it might well be. It might well be for some Leos out there. There may be somebody who is going to leave your realm of existence. I like to say passing on rather than dying or death personally, but somebody who maybe has had an effect on your life in such a big way that when they do pass over, it will feel like a release. It may feel like you are all of a sudden kind of given a new chance of life, a new chance at life itself, that somebody may have been holding you back and stopping you from being yourself even, that this is who you really know that you want to be and should be. But somebody may have been kind of limiting that as well, particularly with the Pluto, because this really is like Pluto and Mercury here. This is literally like Mercury in Scorpio. There really is, I just get this really strong feeling that what's happening for you at the moment is really related to these issues. But because you've got three of the major changing cards here, that this is going to be long term. This is not just a short, quick fix. This is something that you're going to have to take your time with. And I think that's also what the Hermit is saying here is, you know, take the time and honour the time that you need for that transformation to take place and for that change to happen. Because it will happen. But it's going to take time. It's not going to be an instantaneous event. And just keep forgiving. Keep forgiving. Forgive yourself. Forgive the situation. Forgive the people or person who you feel may have played a big part in this in your life. So those are the energies for you at the moment, Leos. You are going through a bit of a major change, I would say, a major transformation, a major death. There may even be what am I getting from this? There may be also people who come into your life who may reveal things for you as well. Maybe people from the past who will come and give you bits of information even that you don't necessarily have at the moment. With the Hermit trying to kind of light the way and find the truth somehow. I feel that this has got something to do with the truth of something, and that maybe people will come back to reveal these things for you. And I pulled another card earlier, and the card that I got was the Knight of Swords, but it was upside down. And the Knight of Swords to me is, well, it is literally, again, it's the air energy, it's the mind, it's the thoughts, it's the things that stop us from literally being held back by our own minds. And it is upside down, like I said. So again, this could have something to do with Mercury in Scorpio, and that this will change. Usually it's very fast energy, it's very quick moving, very fast, and Mercury itself is a very fast moving planet, unless it's retrograde and unless it's in a water sign, which really slows it down. So it stays in the water sign